The Tapestry of Fate, Chapter 6, Darkain, the Game Plan. Sid led me through the village under a calm, starlit sky. The twin crescent moons hung low and bright, their pale light painting silver edges along rooftops and fences. Somewhere far beyond the fields, Darkain howls echoed, long, hollow cries that carried unease with them. The village itself slept lightly, shutters closed, hearths dimmed, the air rich with cooling smoke and earth. Despite the quiet, dread stirred again in the back of my mind, a familiar weight, a warning I couldn't name. I have to return home. We reached the last house at the village's edge, perched where the road dissolved into shrub and stone. Sid paused at the door, his hand hovering over the latch. "Please don't mind the clutter," he said. "I've been preoccupied of late." He pushed the door open. "Let me light a few candles." Sid stepped inside while I lingered in the doorway. Even in the faint spill of moonlight, the chaos was obvious. A grandfather clock stood against the wall, its face intact, but its hollow interior crammed with books and scrolls instead of gears. Narrow footpaths wound through knee-high piles of parchment like trenches in a paper battlefield. From deeper inside came the crash of loose papers, followed by a string of colorful curses. Steel struck flint, a dull red glow flickered, then steadied. As more candles caught, the room emerged in full. I stepped inside and stopped short. Books everywhere. Scrolls lay unrolled and tangled across the floor. Inkwells dotted every flat surface, some tipped and dried into dark stains. There was a table, at least I assumed it was a table beneath the layered stacks of notes and tomes. 3 chairs were buried under document piles, their backs barely visible. The bed in the far corner looked large enough for 2, yet only a narrow strip of blanket remained uncovered. The only clear space was around a potbelly stove, its iron belly warm and clean, as if it were the only object Sid respected enough not to bury. After lighting the 7th candle, Sid surveyed the room. "It's been worse than this before." "My OCD is about to kick in," I said, scanning for somewhere, anywhere, to set my gear down. As Sid began shifting books from the table to the bed, I just recalled what he just said. "Wait," I asked. "What, worse, like when an avalanche blocks the walkway and you urgently need to take a leak?" He froze, then stared at me. A beat passed before he burst out laughing. "That actually happened. Exactly that. I barely made it outside." I laughed with him. Wow, I probably just burnt my natural 20. No way I could pull that off again. "Are you a gambler?" he asked. "Games? Yes. Gambling? No. Those games aren't fun." As Sid dropped the last armful onto the bed, the entire pile slid and collapsed onto the floor. He lifted his hands in defeat as he left it there. "You need more bookshelves," I said, stacking a nearby pile into something stable. "I ordered 3. The merchant won't come to Sundra anymore, thanks to Talen's gang." "I hope you meant 3 dozen." Sid barked a laugh, then rummaged through a towering stack near the wall. With a triumphant grunt, he pulled free a long scroll and took it to the cleared space on the table. He unrolled it, then another beside it. The first showed a beautiful coastal city, clean lines, elegant towers, wide streets. The second was the same city, but scarred. Crude redrawings, rubble, burn marks, black X's clustered in the homes around the edges. "What happened here?" I asked. "The Great War of Raskistis," Sid said, his voice shifting into a lecture tone. "Brethelia, one of the first coastal cities to fall. 2 minor lords ruled there, brothers. Both died during the invasion. The defense golems are still active, which makes treasure hunting difficult." "I never dealt with magic before," I admit. It still feels unfamiliar, like it shouldn't exist. Sid traced a finger along the map. My eye caught a building circled in bold ink. This? I asked while tapping the spot. The library, mostly intact. Only the northeast corner took heavy damage. I snapped photos of both maps with my comm phone. Then I reached to my harness and pulled out a compact rod, unfolded it, and placed it over my eyes. Lenses shimmered into place, forming a HUD. I forgot I had these, Sid chuckled. That makes sense. Pretty sure I forget my mind somewhere, too. Hence the Ironclaw clan incident. I shot him a serious look. We do not speak of they who must not be named. Sid laughed again. I sighed. And yet I feel as if I'm crazy. I've got a voice in my head. Familiar, but unsettling. She wants me to help the village by slaughtering Talen's gang. At least her intentions are noble, Sid said dryly. And she's not wrong. I don't like violence. Sid glanced at my sword. You carry a blade that could decapitate a dragon. I stared at it. I don't know why I use it. It feels necessary, like I never had a choice. Why do you feel like you are then? What do you feel like you are then? I thought of the water wheel I'd seen earlier. I see systems, how things work, how to make them better. Turn a paddle wheel into an electric generator. Sid nodded, unsurprised. We need to leave at first light. I cleared a space near the stove and settled in. As I lay back, the presence of my mind grew stronger. You know what must be done, she whispered. Violence brings peace. There's always another way, I murmured. Then becomes something they fear. What everyone can fear when your name is just a hushed whisper. I forced her back, imagining a boot slamming shut on a door in my mind, a tiny hole she can stay in. Her laughter followed me into sleep.